The edge of the Sol system had always been quiet, a remote region where comets drifted lazily and distant stars flickered in patterns older than humanity itself. For millennia, the galaxy's empires had charted its borders, marking where their influence ended and the unknown began. That peace ended the moment the alien sensors detected something impossible. It began as a ripple in the energy field, subtle but unmistakable. The aliens monitoring the system could not identify it at first. It moved faster than any known vessel, appearing and disappearing in ways that defied their instruments. Then the readings solidified. A massive ship, unlike anything catalogued, had entered the system. Its hull shimmered with strange quantum distortions, and its trajectory suggested intelligence behind every movement. Across the alien fleet, speculation spread like wildfire. Was it a new weapon, a scout of some unknown civilization, or perhaps some cosmic anomaly misinterpreted by their sensors? Messages bounced back and forth in nervous bursts. But the truth was simpler and far more dangerous. Humanity had arrived. Admiral Kayla Voss stood in the command chamber of the battleship Aegis Invictus. The room was quiet, filled with the soft hum of quantum engines and the low chatter of officers monitoring distant sectors. Kayla's eyes were calm, scanning the holomap that displayed alien fleets converging on their position. She did not flinch. "We are not here to provoke," she said softly to her second-in-command, Commander Rylan, "but we will not be ignored." The human message transmitted across the stars was simple, precise, and deliberate. "We come in peace, but we will defend ourselves." There was no boast, no threat, only clarity. The humans had learned that the galaxy respected action over words, and their action had been carefully measured. Alien emissaries debated furiously. Some argued that humanity was bluffing, that no species could survive quantum-locked travel without devastating collateral damage. Others feared the message, reading it as a warning that humanity was already a force capable of ending any confrontation before it began. In secret, reports were sent to the councils of the largest empires, warning that the Sol system might be the birthplace of a civilization unlike any they had ever encountered. Kayla walked along the observation deck, watching stars streak by as the Aegis Invictus adjusted its position. The battleship was enormous by human standards, but it was a marvel of engineering far beyond what the aliens imagined. Its quantum-locking systems allowed it to phase across space instantly, evade missiles, and appear in multiple locations simultaneously. Every part of the ship had been designed to adapt to threats before they became problems. "Admiral," Rylan said, approaching with a subtle tension in his voice, "the scouts are preparing to engage." Kayla nodded, her expression unreadable. "Let them come, observation first, action only if necessary." Moments later, the alien scouts appeared, their sleek black hulls cutting through the void. They moved aggressively, weapons raised, scanning for weaknesses. The humans did not panic. Instead, the Aegis Invictus began a subtle dance, its engines emitting a faint, almost imperceptible shimmer. The ship seemed to flicker in and out of existence, moving with a speed and precision that no alien computer could predict. In the alien fleet, confusion turned to awe. The scouts found themselves unable to lock onto the battleship, their sensors bouncing off its quantum distortions. It was as if the ship were in multiple places at once, and yet everywhere it needed to be. For the first time in the history of galactic warfare, a civilization watched another that could not be touched or harmed by conventional means. Kayla observed the reactions, noting the growing hesitation across the alien ranks. She understood the unspoken message spreading through the fleets. Humans were not just technologically advanced, they were beyond comprehension. And yet she did not take joy in intimidation. Humanity's power was a responsibility, one she intended to wield carefully. As the alien fleets paused, unsure of how to respond, Kayla transmitted a new message. "We seek understanding. Violence will be met with measured defense. Respect will be returned." The words were simple, but their weight carried across the void. Humanity had arrived not as conquerors, but as a force that demanded recognition. And as the first part of this cosmic encounter ended, the galaxy began to understand that this was only the beginning. The humans were here, and they would change everything. The alien scouts hovered near the edges of the Sol system, their sensors twitching in confusion. No human ship had ever behaved this way, and no weapon system had ever been defeated so effortlessly. The crew aboard the scouts exchanged anxious glances. Their leaders' messages were filled with uncertainty. "Report, the vessel is impossible." On the bridge of the Aegis Invictus, Admiral Kayla Voss watched the approaching scouts with a calm that contrasted sharply with the tension of the alien fleet. Commander Rylan leaned over the console, his voice low. "They're testing us," he said. "They want to see how far they can push before we respond." Kayla's eyes narrowed. "Let them. Observation first. Any action must be deliberate. Let them understand we are not reckless." The scouts' first move was subtle. Small energy pulses, harmless in isolation, darted toward the battleship, probing its shields, mapping its response time. The humans monitored every fluctuation, recording and analyzing the patterns. Then Kayla nodded. "Prepare to demonstrate," she ordered. "Nothing lethal. Show them what we are capable of without destroying them." The crew obeyed with precision. The Aegis Invictus shimmered in the void, phasing in a sequence that appeared chaotic to alien eyes. One moment the ship was behind a nearby asteroid. The next, it hovered where the scouts had assumed they could corner it. Then, for a fraction of a second, it appeared to split into multiple images, each position holding perfectly still as if to mock their calculations. The alien scouts tried to fire, but their weapons locked onto positions that no longer existed. Missiles accelerated toward ghostly coordinates, vanishing before impact. Energy beams arced through empty space, dissipating harmlessly. Sensors went haywire. No one aboard the alien ships could predict the battleship's movements, and every calculated maneuver failed. Back on the Aegis Invictus, Kayla watched the readings. "Every attempt to engage them directly is failing," she said. "They are learning, and so are we." Commander Rylan shook his head, a mixture of disbelief and awe. "They'll never be able to adjust to us in time. We are untouchable." Kayla's lips pressed into a thin line. Not untouchable, adaptive, that's the difference, and they need to understand it without being destroyed. The human crew adjusted the ship's quantum field, demonstrating another capability. The battleship appeared to accelerate, then stopped instantaneously, creating the illusion of teleportation. The alien scouts fired again, and again, every attack was evaded before it could reach the target. Each successful dodge was calculated, precise, and efficient. Humanity's power was clear, not just in technology, but in discipline and strategy. Through the alien fleet, fear spread quickly. Some began to withdraw, others hesitated to engage at all. Back in the human bridge, Kayla transmitted a message. "We are capable of defending ourselves. Hostile action will not succeed. Respect is advised." The aliens did not immediately respond. They were stunned, grappling with the impossible reality of a civilization whose ships defied both physics and tactics. Even the most advanced military minds could not comprehend how humans could coordinate actions at speeds and scales beyond their sensors. Reports to their councils were frantic, filled with urgency and confusion. As the scouts finally retreated, a small victory settled across the human crew. It was not a battle won through firepower, but a demonstration of what they could do if provoked. They had proved that humanity's strength was not reckless force. It was adaptability, intelligence, and the ability to act before an opponent even realized they were threatened. Kayla turned to her officers. "They've seen what we are capable of. They will return to their fleets and spread the word, but remember, this is only a test. The galaxy is watching. Our actions now define how they perceive us. Show restraint, show wisdom, show strength." The Aegis Invictus drifted silently in the void, a sentinel in the dark. Stars flickered around it, distant yet familiar, while alien fleets hesitated at the edge of the system. Humanity had passed its first real test in the galaxy, not through destruction, but through demonstration. And as the human battleship prepared for whatever came next, one truth became clear across the stars. Humans were not a species to underestimate. The galaxy had begun to whisper the name of the human battleship, though no one yet fully understood its capabilities. Across the stars, reports from scouts and isolated fleets described a vessel that defied prediction, that moved faster than sensors could follow, and that evaded weapons as if the laws of physics bent to its will. For most civilizations, this was impossible. For humans, it was just another day. Admiral Kayla Voss stood on the observation deck of the Aegis Invictus, watching alien warships approaching in formation. Unlike the scouts that had tested them, these were organized, disciplined fleets. 12 vessels from the nearby coalition had been sent to intimidate humanity, their mission clear: force submission or demonstrate strength. "Admiral," Commander Rylan said, "they're coordinated this time. Every fleet we've observed has a pattern, but these ships, they've synchronized their movements. They mean business." Kayla nodded, her eyes calm. Let's see if their business is enough. The alien fleet moved as a single organism, surrounding the Sol system and advancing toward human positions. On board the Aegis Invictus, sensors tracked every approach vector, every energy signature, every possible engagement angle. The humans did not panic. They never did. Instead, they prepared to respond, not with blind aggression, but with deliberate strategy. As the first alien ships fired, energy beams streaked through space, aiming for the battleship. The humans observed the attack and waited. Then the Aegis Invictus moved, not in a straight line, not in an obvious maneuver, but in a sequence that made it appear in multiple positions almost simultaneously. Lasers passed through the spots it had just occupied, hitting only empty void. Missiles detonated harmlessly behind it. The aliens blinked in disbelief. Their most advanced weapons were rendered ineffective. "Adjust shields to adaptive phase," Kayla ordered. "Prepare to immobilize their vectors without causing destruction." The humans did not fire a single destructive shot. Instead, they engaged the ship's quantum-locked systems to intercept the enemy weapons' trajectories. Missiles slowed, energy beams dissipated, and alien systems overloaded in seconds. Every vessel in the approaching fleet was neutralized without a single human casualty. Ships were rendered inoperative, floating silently as if waiting for further instructions. Across the alien coalition, panic began to spread. Their calculations had assumed human technology would be formidable, but nothing had prepared them for this level of unpredictability. The fleets that had been confident now hesitated, unsure if continued aggression would result in annihilation. Kayla observed the outcome carefully. "This is not victory," she told Rylan. "Victory will come when they understand respect. Let them see our power, but let them also see restraint. That is what makes humanity formidable." Communications channels crackled with alien reports. Some fleets attempted to regroup, others retreated in fear, and still others sent messages requesting negotiation. Across the galaxy, stories of the human battleship began to spread. It was no longer merely a threat, it was a symbol, a force that combined technology, strategy, and the moral restraint of a civilization that had learned when to act and when to hold back. The human crew prepared a message for the alien coalition. Kayla's voice, calm and commanding, carried across interstellar channels. "We do not seek conflict. We have demonstrated our capabilities. Respect, fairness, and communication are the foundation of coexistence. We will defend ourselves if necessary, but we prefer understanding over combat." There was a pause. Then almost immediately, the alien fleets began to withdraw, signaling submission without a single shot fired in earnest. Across the stars, the lesson was clear. Humans were not just powerful. They were unpredictable, intelligent, and restrained. A civilization that could render entire fleets harmless without destruction had established a new standard of dominance. In the observation deck, Kayla turned to her officers. "They have learned the first lesson. Humanity is not a species to underestimate. Remember, the galaxy is watching. Every action we take now will define how humans are perceived for generations." As the Aegis Invictus drifted silently in the dark void, the stars reflecting off its quantum-locked hull, the crew understood that their work had only begun. The first encounter had ended without bloodshed, but it had set the stage for the legend that would follow. Across the galaxy, whispers grew into stories, and stories would become the foundations of a reputation no alien civilization could ignore. Humanity had proven itself. The galaxy now knew they were not merely survivors. They were a force of intellect, innovation, and moral strength, capable of commanding respect without firing a single destructive shot. And for Admiral Kayla Voss, that was exactly how it should be. The galaxy had seen a human battleship neutralize an entire fleet without firing a destructive shot, and whispers of its power spread like wildfire. But to Admiral Kayla Voss and her crew, this was only the beginning. The human capacity for innovation and strategy was far from fully revealed, and the next challenge would test not just technology, but ingenuity and coordination on a scale no alien civilization could anticipate. Reports arrived from the edges of the system. Multiple human colonies were under threat. Rogue factions, convinced that humans could be intimidated or exploited, attempted coordinated strikes. In previous centuries, such attacks might have been devastating, but now the Aegis Invictus was ready. "Commander Rylan," Kayla said, studying the incoming data, "we have threats at 3 locations, simultaneous engagement. They believe in numbers, not strategy. Let's show them why humans think differently." Ryland's brow furrowed. 3 locations at once? No fleet in the galaxy could cover that simultaneously. That's where they're wrong, Kayla replied. Prepare quantum synchronization. We go where needed when needed and they won't see it coming. The human battleship shimmered, phasing across multiple points near the colonies. To alien eyes, it appeared almost everywhere at once. At Colony Epsilon, a fleet of mercenaries found themselves surrounded by empty space, their weapons locking onto coordinates that vanished as quickly as they appeared. At Colony Zeta, a raiding party attempted to bombard the surface, only to discover their missiles looping back harmlessly, intercepted mid-flight by unseen forces. At Colony Theta, reconnaissance drones were neutralized before they could relay any information back to their controllers. Each action was precise, efficient, and adaptive. Humans didn't simply react, they anticipated, adjusted, and outmaneuvered the attackers in real time. Every move reflected not just superior technology, but superior thinking. Alien analysts struggled to comprehend the tactics. No known AI could coordinate this level of multi-location engagement, and no alien commander could issue orders fast enough to counter it. Humanity's approach was fluid, creative, and unpredictable, a combination of calculated logic and instinctive adaptation. In the bridge of the Aegis Invictus, Kayla observed the results. They are learning from us, she said quietly. Every time they attempt a new tactic, we adapt faster. That is how humans survive, and that is how we dominate. Ryland nodded. It's not just firepower, it's strategy. They can't predict how we will respond next, no matter how advanced their technology. The human crew coordinated seamlessly. Quantum lock sensors allowed them to detect subtle variations in the attackers' formations, while the neural interface system translated insights from one engagement point to all others in real time. Each colony was protected as if the Aegis Invictus were simultaneously present everywhere, a feat that defied all known laws of space warfare. By the time the alien factions realized they had been outmaneuvered, it was too late. Their forces had been contained, neutralized, and forced into retreat without a single casualty among human colonies. The galaxy began to understand the full scope of humanity's strength. Humans did not simply destroy enemies, they controlled outcomes with precision and foresight. After the engagements, Kayla convened her officers. Humanity's advantage is not merely in our ships, she said. It's in how we think. Adaptability, creativity, and rapid problem-solving are as much weapons as any missile or beam. The galaxy assumes force dominates. We know intelligence does. Ryland looked around the bridge, a rare smile crossing his face. They'll never see it coming next time. They don't even know the full extent of our capabilities. Kayla nodded. And that is how we will ensure peace, not through fear alone, but through proof that aggression is futile. Respect will follow naturally, and submission will come without a single human firing a lethal shot. As the Aegis Invictus repositioned near Earth's outer defense perimeter, the alien fleets withdrew further, sharing reports of their defeat. Across the stars, scientists, strategists, and leaders began to realize that humans were redefining what it meant to be powerful. The legend of the battleship grew, a symbol of intelligence, adaptability, and moral restraint combined. In that quiet moment aboard the ship, Kayla gazed at the stars beyond the observation window. The galaxy was vast, filled with civilizations confident in their supremacy. And yet, humanity had shown that even against overwhelming numbers and advanced technology, ingenuity and strategy could overcome all obstacles. For the humans aboard the Aegis Invictus, it was clear. This was only the beginning. The galaxy would remember the lesson, and the humans would continue to teach it, one calculated move at a time. The galaxy was buzzing with rumors of the human battleship. Across distant star systems, alien councils debated what to do. Some advocated caution, fearing further encounters. Others believed they could provoke the humans into misstep. But no one dared approach without thought, for the story of the Aegis Invictus had spread far and wide. Humanity could outthink, outmaneuver, and neutralize threats without firing a single destructive shot. Admiral Kayla Voss understood the delicate balance of the moment. Strength alone was not enough. Reputation mattered, but so did perception. One misstep could spark hostility, while one demonstration of restraint could build alliances. Humanity had the power to overwhelm, but diplomacy would decide whether the galaxy accepted them or feared them forever. Commander, Kayla said, studying the latest communications, we have requests for negotiation from 3 major empires. They want to establish dialogue directly with Earth. They are still cautious but curious, and that curiosity is an opportunity. Rylan leaned over the console. They'll expect a show of force. Some fleets might come along to escort their emissaries. Do we let them approach? Kayla's gaze remained steady. We will show them our readiness, but we will not escalate. Let them see that we are capable, yes, but also controlled. We demonstrate power, yes, but also restraint. The humans prepared for the arrival of alien emissaries. Ships approached carefully, their weapons idle but their crews alert. Kayla ordered the Aegis Invictus to maintain its position near the outer perimeter, quantum locked to allow instantaneous maneuver if needed, yet unthreatening in its demeanor. When the first alien vessel docked, a delegation of tall, multi-limbed figures stepped aboard. Their sensors recorded every movement, analyzing the humans as if the crew itself were a puzzle to be solved. Kayla greeted them without ceremony but with authority, her posture calm and confident. "Welcome to the Aegis Invictus," she said. "We understand you come with caution. We will not harm you, nor do we wish to escalate conflict. Humanity seeks understanding, fairness, and cooperation." The alien leaders, still wary, communicated in precise tones. "Your reputation precedes you. Your fleet has shown capabilities beyond comprehension. Why do you restrain yourselves?" Kayla smiled faintly. "Because true strength is measured not by destruction but by control, by the ability to protect without unnecessary harm, by ensuring that others respect what is right, not what is feared. Humanity does not seek domination. We seek coexistence and the understanding that aggression against us is futile." Throughout the negotiation, Kayla demonstrated the battleship's capabilities, but never lethally. She repositioned it subtly to show quantum-locking maneuvers, intercepted simulated attacks, and illustrated defensive systems, all without causing damage. The alien delegation observed carefully, recording every maneuver and noting the discipline and precision of the humans. By the end of the session, the aliens were visibly impressed. They had anticipated arrogance or brutality, but instead found intelligence, strategy, and measured response. A new respect formed, tempered with caution, yet unmistakable in its weight. After the emissaries departed, Rylan turned to Kayla. "They'll report back that humanity is untouchable but not reckless. That's more than intimidation, it's respect." Kayla nodded. "Exactly. Strength alone can provoke fear. Strength tempered with wisdom inspires allegiance. That is the lesson humanity must impart to the galaxy. We will defend ourselves when necessary, yes, but diplomacy guided by restraint will shape the galaxy far more effectively than destruction ever could." In the following days, more alien emissaries arrived, each curious, each cautious. Humanity's reputation spread not through conquest, but through demonstration. Intelligence, adaptability, and ethical restraint combined with unmatched technology. Even the most aggressive factions began to reconsider their tactics, wary of a civilization that could neutralize fleets without firing destructive weapons. On the bridge of the Aegis Invictus, Kayla observed the stars in silence. Each incoming message, each new arrival, reinforced a single truth. Humanity's power extended far beyond physical might. It was their thinking, their strategy, their moral discipline that defined them as a species the galaxy could neither ignore nor challenge easily. The galaxy had learned two lessons in a short span. Humans were capable of overwhelming force, and humans chose to wield it with discretion. Kayla knew the next steps would be equally crucial. Humanity could now shape alliances, influence policy, and protect its interests, not through fear alone, but through a reputation of unmatched competence paired with ethical conduct. For the first time, civilizations across the galaxy were beginning to see humans not as just another species, but as a central force, intelligent, adaptable, and morally resolute. And Admiral Kayla Voss knew that the story of humanity's arrival had only just begun. The galaxy had begun to respect humanity, yet curiosity and fear mingled in equal measure. Across distant star systems, alien scientists, strategists, and scholars tried desperately to understand the source of the humans' power. No amount of observation could explain how a single battleship had neutralized entire fleets, or how humans could respond to multiple threats simultaneously with perfect coordination. On the bridge of the Aegis Invictus, Admiral Kayla Voss watched reports pour in from alien emissaries. They asked questions about the technology, the ship's maneuvering, and even the humans themselves. Kayla allowed some of the questions, but carefully filtered those that could reveal sensitive information. Humanity's power was formidable, but secrets had to remain protected. Commander Rylan leaned over a console, reviewing intercepted communications. "They're analyzing everything," he said. "They want to know how we do it. They're sending their best minds to reverse engineer our tactics and technology. Some of them are beginning to realize it's not just the ship. They can't replicate the humans themselves." Kayla nodded thoughtfully. "Exactly. The battleship is a tool, powerful as it is. But the real advantage lies in the crew, their thinking, adaptability, and creativity. They are trying to copy the ship, but the humans operating it cannot be replicated." The revelation came in stages. Alien scientists discovered that the Aegis Invictus's quantum locking systems were linked to a neural interface, allowing the ship to respond as an extension of human thought. It was not artificial intelligence alone, but human intuition integrated with quantum technology that allowed the ship to phase, evade, and anticipate attacks. Every maneuver, every adjustment, was calculated in real time based on a combination of predictive modeling and instinctive decision-making. Reports spread quickly through the galaxy. Humans were not merely powerful, they were adaptive beyond comprehension. The neural interface allowed the battleship to anticipate enemy movements faster than any alien system could calculate. It was as if the ship thought, evolved, and learned with the humans controlling it, merging instinct and calculation into one seamless entity. In distant council halls, alien leaders debated the implications. "They are not machines," one said. "They are something beyond our understanding. Their strength is not just technology, but intelligence itself." "They can evolve mid-battle," another added. "Even our best AI cannot adapt this quickly. We are observing something fundamentally different. Humanity, they are unpredictable but also brilliant." Back on the Aegis Invictus, Kayla listened to the intercepted discussions with quiet satisfaction. The humans had not sought fear or domination. They had only acted with precision, intelligence, and restraint. And yet, the galaxy now understood that humanity's power was rooted in its unique combination of technology and intellect. Rylan looked out at the stars, awed. "It's not just the ship. They can't predict what humans will do next because we don't follow patterns like they do. Every choice, every adaptation, it's unique. That's why they can't counter us." Kayla turned toward him. "And that is exactly the point. Intelligence and adaptability are our greatest weapons. Force alone is limited. But when you combine creativity, moral restraint, and the ability to evolve in real time, you become untouchable in ways the galaxy cannot comprehend." The revelations spread beyond the military. Scientists and engineers across civilizations scrambled to study the technology, trying to emulate it, but found that human ingenuity could not be replicated. Humanity's thinking, decision-making, and adaptability were as crucial as the advanced systems themselves. As the galaxy grappled with this reality, a subtle shift occurred. Alien fleets that once considered confrontation now approached humans with caution, even deference. Diplomats sought dialogue, realizing that aggression against a species capable of instantaneous adaptation would be futile. Humanity's reputation grew not through fear, but through proof of unmatched competence and strategic genius. Kayla reflected on the reports in silence. She understood that the galaxy's awe was both a responsibility and an opportunity. Humans were not conquerors by design, but their intellect and ingenuity could protect their colonies, guide alliances, and establish a presence that commanded respect. The Aegis Invictus remained a symbol, a vessel that could evade, adapt, and dominate without causing unnecessary harm. But the true revelation, the part that alien civilizations were only beginning to grasp, was simple. Humans themselves were the ultimate force. The ship was powerful, but it was human thought, creativity, and ethical strength that made it unstoppable. Across the stars, alien societies began to accept the same truth. The humans were no ordinary species. They were brilliant, adaptable, and unpredictable. They could not be outmaneuvered through brute force, and attempts to do so would only reveal the depth of their ingenuity. In that quiet moment aboard the Aegis Invictus, Kayla knew that the galaxy had learned something profound. Humanity's power was no accident. It was the natural result of intelligence, moral fortitude, and the willingness to act decisively when necessary. And in the coming years, the galaxy would realize just how transformative this revelation could be. Across the galaxy, a profound shift was underway. Once confident empires that had boasted fleets of warships now found themselves hesitant, their councils divided between awe and fear. The humans had demonstrated capabilities that no known civilization could match. Entire fleets had been neutralized without a single casualty, and humans had done so with strategy, intelligence, and ethical restraint. Admiral Kayla Voss understood the moment's significance. Humanity was no longer a single power among many. It had become a standard against which every other civilization measured themselves. But with great influence came responsibility. Respect had to be earned, not demanded, and Kayla intended to wield humanity's power wisely. "Commander Rylan," she said, observing the latest communications from alien fleets, "they are beginning to submit voluntarily. Some offer alliances, others resources, and all seek our guidance. But submission without understanding is hollow. We must ensure respect is mutual, not coerced." Rylan nodded. "They've seen our power, Admiral. They know any attack would be futile, but they also know we won't exploit them unnecessarily. That combination, it's unprecedented." The first formal emissary arrived from the largest galactic empire, a coalition whose fleets had once dwarfed Earth's combined defenses. Their vessel was adorned with symbols of authority, and aboard it came representatives eager to meet the humans who had become the new center of galactic power. Kayla greeted them with calm dignity. "Welcome," she said. "We understand your empire has long governed parts of this sector. Humanity does not seek to dominate. We only seek to ensure safety, fairness, and coexistence." The alien leaders, carefully observing the human crew, nodded. "We have witnessed your strength and your restraint. We submit voluntarily, recognizing that aggression against your people would be unwise. We seek cooperation and guidance." It was a pivotal moment. Humanity had established dominance not through war, but through demonstration of capability, strategic brilliance, and moral judgment. Kayla's crew understood that submission was not just about fear. It was about earning trust through consistency and wisdom. Over the following weeks, more civilizations reached out. They offered treaties, resources, and collaboration. Humanity's reputation as a force of intelligence and ethics spread like a beacon across the stars. Even once aggressive factions, previously confident in their fleets, now approached with caution, offering dialogue instead of conflict. On the observation deck of the Aegis Invictus, Kayla reflected on the paradox of ultimate power. She turned to Rylan. "True strength," she said quietly, "is not measured by how many ships you destroy or how far you can project force. It is measured by the respect you command without causing destruction." Rylan smiled. "We've proven that. Every empire that submits does so out of recognition, not fear alone. That is far more meaningful than a battlefield victory." Kayla's gaze swept across the stars. Each blinking light represented a civilization now reconsidering its place in the galaxy. Humanity had not merely survived, they had reshaped the rules. The story of the Aegis Invictus and its crew had become legendary, a symbol of intelligence, adaptability, and restraint combined with unmatched technological capability. Yet the Admiral knew that vigilance remained essential. While many had submitted, the galaxy was vast and filled with unknowns. Humanity's role was not to conquer, but to guide, protect, and demonstrate the potential of a species that could combine power with wisdom. Across distant star systems, alien leaders began to send envoys to Earth, requesting collaboration and assistance in managing conflicts. The humans had not sought dominion, but their influence naturally drew others toward them. Humanity's presence became a stabilizing factor, a force capable of enforcing fairness and preventing the kind of chaos that had once been common in galactic politics. In quiet moments aboard the Aegis Invictus, Kayla observed her crew. Each officer, each sailor, understood the weight of their actions. They had achieved what no other civilization could, commanding the galaxy's respect without unnecessary destruction, shaping the course of interstellar relations, and demonstrating that intelligence, morality, and adaptability were forces more powerful than raw firepower. The galaxy had changed. Submission was voluntary, but respect was earned, and humanity had earned it in ways the stars themselves would remember. And as Admiral Kayla Voss looked beyond the shimmering void, she understood that this was not the end of humanity's story. It was the beginning of a new era. The humans had not conquered the galaxy through fear. They had guided it with strategy, ethics, and brilliance, and in that guidance lay the true measure of their power. The galaxy had changed. Once, humanity had been a small, isolated species on the edge of a relatively quiet star system. Now, it had become a central force in interstellar politics, science, and security. The legend of the Aegis Invictus and its crew had spread far and wide, a symbol of intelligence, adaptability, and ethical strength that no civilization could ignore. Admiral Kayla Voss stood on the observation deck, watching the stars pass in endless procession. Each light represented worlds, civilizations, and fleets now aware of humanity's presence. Some still regarded humans with caution, others with admiration, but all recognized a simple truth: humanity was no ordinary species. "Admiral," Commander Ryland said, approaching quietly, "our communications channels are full. Every major empire is requesting alliances, trade agreements, and guidance. They want cooperation, not subjugation." Kayla nodded. "And that is exactly how it should be. Power without wisdom is dangerous, but influence earned through competence and restraint shapes the galaxy for the better. Humanity has the ability to guide, not dominate." The humans' influence was not enforced through fear, but through example. Their battleship had demonstrated the limits of brute force and the effectiveness of intelligence, strategy, and adaptability. Entire fleets had been neutralized, not destroyed, teaching alien civilizations that aggression against humans was futile. And yet humanity had never sought to humiliate or conquer. They had chosen restraint, fairness, and guidance instead. Across the galaxy, alien diplomats convened with human representatives. Trade flourished where it had once been impossible. Conflicts were mediated with the assistance of humans, who applied strategy, negotiation, and impartial judgment to resolve disputes. Scientific knowledge and technology were shared selectively, creating a network of collaboration rather than exploitation. Humanity's reputation as a fair and capable arbiter grew with each passing month. On board the Aegis Invictus, Kayla reflected on the journey that had brought them here. From the first encounter with alien scouts to the submission of powerful empires, humanity had proven that intelligence and morality could surpass raw power. The neural-linked quantum systems of their battleship had been formidable, but it was human creativity, foresight, and ethical judgment that had truly shaped the outcome. "Commander," Kayla said, turning to Rylan, "our role is no longer just defense. We are leaders, mediators, and teachers. The galaxy looks to us for stability. That is both a privilege and a responsibility." Rylan smiled. "It's remarkable, Admiral. We arrived quietly with no intention of conquest, yet here we are, shaping the galaxy simply by being who we are." Kayla allowed herself a rare moment of satisfaction. The humans had not forced submission, they had earned respect. Alien civilizations had recognized the value of collaboration, fairness, and strategic intelligence. Humanity's presence had become a stabilizing force, demonstrating that a species could achieve power not through fear, but through competence, ethical restraint, and the willingness to act decisively when necessary. In the months that followed, a new galactic order emerged. Humanity coordinated a council of allied civilizations, facilitating dialogue and ensuring that disputes were resolved peacefully. Knowledge was shared where appropriate, defenses were strengthened, and trade and exploration expanded at an unprecedented pace. The humans' example reshaped the expectations of interstellar society. Power could coexist with morality, and intelligence could outmatch aggression every time. Kayla gazed out at the infinite stars, a quiet smile on her face. Humanity had arrived as a force to be reckoned with, but they had done so without domination, without unnecessary destruction. They had proven that restraint and intelligence were far more formidable than brute force, and in that demonstration lay the true measure of their strength. As the Aegis Invictus continued its patrols near human colonies, each maneuver precise, calculated, and non-aggressive, Kayla reflected on the paradox of ultimate power. The greatest force was not the ability to destroy, but the ability to inspire respect, cooperation, and stability across the galaxy. Humanity had not conquered the stars, they had guided them. They had shown that ingenuity, moral fortitude, and adaptability could reshape entire civilizations. And the galaxy in turn had learned a profound lesson. Intelligence and ethics, paired with technological mastery, made humans a force no one could ignore. The stars stretched endlessly ahead, and humanity's journey had only begun. Yet one truth was certain: across the vast reaches of space, the legend of the Aegis Invictus and its crew would endure, a testament to the power of thought, strategy, and ethical strength. Humanity had proven that the greatest victories were not won through destruction, but through wisdom, courage, and the unwavering resolve to do what was right. And with that, a new era dawned, one where humans stood as a guiding light, reshaping the galaxy not with fear, but with intelligence, honor, and a force so overwhelming that even the most advanced civilizations could not resist respect.